This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz. Very excited to be speaking with Sophie Nélisse about Yellowjackets. How are you, Sophie?
Good. How are you?
Good. We had a chance to talk at the beginning of the season when you were paired with one of your fellow actors about how Shauna seems very angry this season. And having seen the back half of the season, I think that's definitely true. But I think this is also a much more intense version of her that we've seen, and also in the present day too. I'm talking about biting off pieces of other people's bodies and forcing them to eat them is a certain level of darkness that even this show has not shown us yet for Shauna. And I'm curious how that hit you when you first read it, either in your pages or in Melanie's.
Yeah, I think we've been hinting towards it, and I don't know how I'm still surprised because I'm like, this is what you'd expect from Yellowjackets. It's to get crazier and crazier. But yet every time I see it on a page, I'm a little bit shocked, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're going this far. But it's so exciting and thrilling as an actor to be able to tap into those places. And um, yeah, I think Shauna this season has definitely turned into, some could say, a villain, but I love playing a villain, and I think the showrunners have done such a good job at, layering her and making her feel very human. And so I find that despite all of her craziness, I still empathize with her quite a lot.
I think also just in terms of from the, teenage cast to the adult cast, I feel like it's been the most difficult thing to sort of connect the two. That I feel like we see how Misty becomes the Misty we know, and how Lottie becomes the Lottie we know. And I feel like sometimes the two Shaunas don't exactly match, and that's more of an enticing mystery of like, how do we get from this? How do we get from somebody who I was quite surprised to see wouldn't let everybody leave when they had the chance at rescue? I was sort of that was to me the biggest surprising moment of the season, the idea of they had the chance to go and that Shauna was on a different side than I would have thought.
Yeah, well, I think Shauna has been able to unleash part of herself out in the wilderness and tap into a darkness that's always been within her that she's never really been able to channel. And so I think that's very weirdly freeing in a way. Um, and I think the person that she was before the crash is someone that she despises and wants to put behind her. And it's kind of like, in her mind, the worst version of herself because, yeah, the idea of ending up in a boring, mundane life in a small town, having, to her eyes, accomplished nothing is just the worst possible outcome. And so I think there's something very thrilling about who she can be out in the wilderness. And I think that's why she wants to stay and then wants other people to stay, obviously.
We also get a very volatile relationship with Melissa, which I think was fascinating. And again, I would argue, in your past is a little bit gentler even than what we see in the future with Melanie and Hillary. What was it like getting to build and then sort of explode that dynamic?
It was really fun. It happens so quickly and it ends so quickly as well. It's so short-lived. Which makes me feel that there will be more, hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, it's been fun for Shauna to find a new character to bond with, and again, so much complexity to that relationship. I feel like, Shauna at first maybe is manipulating her and using her, but then I think she finds a real ally within Melissa, and I think she sees a lot of herself in that character, but in all of the ways that she maybe wishes sh Melissa kind of has the darkness of Shauna, but in a healthier way, I find. And so yeah, and I think she at a certain point feels very conflicted because she's grown to care for this character and to develop a sincere relationship, but also has so much to figure out in her own life and has so much hatred for herself that she's not in a position where she can give love to others.
It certainly feels like a lot of this is very dark and could lead to a very, sort of miserable, depressing onset experience. But my sense is that's not at all what's happening. You guys are actually having quite a lot of fun creating this chaos.
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep it very light despite the heaviness of the subject and the themes. We just, I mean, we've known each other for so long now. These girls like truly feel like family, and we love to prank each other. We love to mess around. We're also such a great support system. So whenever someone is on like having a harder day, we know who to lean on to. We know how to help each other out. Um, and there's just so much like trust and vulnerability within this group. And I feel very fortunate to have been able to, find girls that I look forward to seeing every season and to spend so much time with.
And while it obviously is a TV set and it's not closed and you do see other people, I imagine the idea of having these three guest stars who don't necessarily have good things looking out for them in the middle of the season was a bit of a jolt that changed the dynamic somewhat.
Oh, totally. It was so much fun, because it does feel like we're a bit like, we've only acted within each other for like 3 seasons now. And so it felt a little estranged to have new people and for them to enter a dynamic. And it must have been weird for them because we're so established as well, like just the jokes and the atmosphere in the green room. Um and so we were both kind of like looking at each other like we were aliens, but it was such a breath of like fresh air, and they were just so fantastic to work with, and they bring a lot of comedy even sometimes. Um, so yeah, it definitely made things a little bit more interesting and fun.
Do you feel like there's anybody within your, Crash Survivor crew that you haven't had enough scenes with that you really wish you, if it's possible or if it's not in the future, would get to share stuff with?
I wish I had more scenes with Thaisa. I feel like there was a really beautiful relationship that flourished in the first season that's built on like so much trust and mutual respect. And we see it a little bit in the finale where I think that Tice is the only person that can kind of confront Shauna and Shauna will back down. And so yeah, I'd love to see where their relationship could go and like an honest friendship.
I also like the idea that in the future, she asked Shauna and Van don't like talk to each other. They don't have that kind of relationship. They go through Ty also. Like they just
Yes.
don't have that relationship. There's actual mention of that, which I think is very funny because there's still a little bit of like pettiness and childishness, even despite everything they've been
Yeah,
through.
it feels like the dynamics and the hierarchies between the girls are still established even within the older counterparts.
We've also had the chance to see some younger and older counterparts together, but that usually means that that character is dead. And so
I
I
know.
think we are all hoping that doesn't happen for a long time or ever with Shauna. But is that something that you would enjoy getting the chance to do?
I would love to. I know that's exactly what I've been saying. I would love to have scenes with Melanie, but I'm afraid that that would not be good for me or her. But yeah, or at least just get to see her a bit more. We get to hang out a little bit in Vancouver, but it's mostly just to hang out on like a personal level. We never get to ever see each other's work, and I wish I could because I have so much to learn from her.
I've also been curious because I know we don't know what's next. We don't know if there is a season four. I think if there was no season four, that would be pretty horrible because there are far too many unanswered questions and far too big a fan base for, the world to continue going. But I also at some point we do have to like fully jump. We can't see every piece of what happens from the crash until the present that we know. And so I'd be curious how much you want to see your version of Shauna, back in the normal world, or if you feel like there's something about her where she is now that that's sort of all we should know of her, and that the next time we see her, she should look like Melanie.
No, I definitely think one of the most interesting parts of the show is yet to come. I think it will be their rehabilitation into society. I mean, Shauna just having to get back to living that mundane life that she hates so much, and also just falling back into societal norms and guidelines and rules that they're so unused to. And how are they going to battle, the how other people view them? How quick does she end up with Jeff? Like, how does that spark back? Is she going to tell him about the kid? Like, there's so much to unpack about them being installed back in society that I'm very looking forward to it.
Do you follow any of the fan theories about what's going on?
I don't really. I get sent a few on like our group chat. And I have such admiration for them. They're so devoted and they are so brilliant as well. Like they pick up on things that I even haven't picked up on. And so the extent of like the research and the level of commitment that they will go to is truly amazing. But I just try not to read them because I don't know. I feel like there's always going to be people, there's always going to be controversy, and I would rather just kind of stay out of it.
While you wait for news of season four, do you have other projects that you're working on at the moment?
I have a horror movie that should be coming out eventually. I don't think we have a release date yet. That's called Whistle, and then I'm working on some more personal like production side projects. So yeah.
I was at the Sundance Film Festival a few months ago and had the chance to see a movie called Two Women.
Yes.
And I was like, I think that's Sophie. I know she probably speaks French. I'm not sure if she's in this. And lo and behold, it was you. And I think that's could not be more different in tone, I would say, from
Yes.
Yellowjackets, and also just a far more like outrightly conniving character, which I'm sure you enjoy playing.
Yeah, it was fun to tap into some comedy. I've been wanting to do that for a while. And so yeah, dipping my toes into that genre was really fun. And I'm such a fan of the director and it was shot on film and it was so beautiful and like even though my part is quite small in it, I just enjoyed the script so much as like a viewer. Like I had so much fun. I laughed out loud. It felt like so emotionally driven as well. And again, so well layered. So I felt very honored to be a part of that project. And I also love being able to work back home, work in French. It's where I come from. So it's always a pleasure to be back on those projects.
Do you find you're different as an actress when you're speaking a different language, English versus French?
I don't think so. A lot of people ask me that. I don't know. No, I kind of go back and forth between one and the other really easily.
And what are you watching in your whatever free time you have?
Honestly, I have to watch Yellowjackets because I've not watched it yet. I'm not in the third season. I mean, I'm up to like episode like 5 now. So I need to watch this. And then I've just been so busy. I haven't been able to watch much. I need to watch Adolescence. I need to watch White Lotus. I finished Severance. Yeah, I'm honestly rewatching Girls, and that's been really fun and like a bit of a lighter watch.
I suppose compared to Yellowjackets Girls, it's certainly light. It's not
Yeah.
the most relaxing show out there, but I not nearly as stressful.
Yeah.
Do you have things, genres that you really feel like you'd like to try in the future? And after the experience of Yellowjackets, whenever that ends, do you think TV is a place you want to stay in?
I mean, ideally, I juggle both. I come from more of a film background, and my heart will kind of always remain there. But TV is very fun, especially on Yellowjackets because we've been able to have our same crews come back, and that feels very special. Um, in terms of genre, like White Lotus is always like that, a kind of like dark comedy or a project like The Studio, would be really fun. Definitely want to try to do comedy or anything that's like quite physical. I come from a sports background because I grew up doing high competitive gymnastics. And so any kind of like action movie like Zoe Kravitz and um Batman, like anything like that would be really fun for me.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like a lot of exciting possibilities ahead, and I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.